They wanted Malaysia to be governed by the rule of law, to protect the fundamental rights and liberties of her people, encouraging democracy. They envisaged Malaysia as a secular country, and secular it must remain. At this point, I should call to mind Article 4.1 of our Federal Constitution, which declares that this Constitution is the supreme law of the Federation, and any law passed which contravenes it will be void. As such, the tabling of the private member bill by Hadi to amend the Sharia Act, allowing hudud law, is going against the very grain of the foundation of Malaysia's existence. If this bill is passed, it will have serious constitutional implications, affecting the fabric of this secular nation, and the very foundation upon which Malaysia was formed will be ruined. Some have tried to reassure us that it was just all a big misunderstanding and that the bill was just about enhancing punishment in the Sharia court and would not affect non-Muslims in this country. With respect, I disagree. It will affect non-Muslims. The following are some of the reasons why. First, the criminal justice system is not a private matter, but rather a public matter that affects all Malaysians. You cannot apportion justice to individuals according to their respective religious beliefs. Justice cannot be biased and is applicable to all. Second, the conflict between Sharia law and the Federal Constitution affects all of us, all Malaysians. The Sharia court at the moment is limited by federal law to what we know as the 365 safeguards, where it can impose up to a maximum 3 years jail, whipping of 6 strokes, and a maximum fine of 5,000. This bill wants to remove this limitation by amending the 9th schedule of the Constitution, thus empowering the Sharia judges to add criminal punishments up to 打屁股100鞭, up to that for hurt you, okay? And even amputation, amputation of your hand. Do we as Malaysians want to see such penalties imposed on any of our fellow citizens simply because they are Muslims? Could this imbalance of justice lead to animosity between the races and pick at the delicate threads that bind our multiculturalism? Third reason, the basic notions of principles of equality are also at stake here. As described in Article 8 of the Constitution, which states that all persons are equal before the law and entitled to the equal protection of the law. Article 8 will no doubt have to be amended so as to allow 2 sets of laws to be applied to the same offense based on one's religion. In a multicultural society such as ours, this simply does not make any sense. And here is a good example. In the case of rape, a woman may not have equal protection of the law, or worse, it's possible for a Muslim rape victim to end up being charged for adultery or illicit sex if the alleged rapist does not confess to it, or you do not have your 4 alim male witnesses to the offense. My fourth reason, if this bill is passed, there will exist a few serious constitutional breaches. We will have to amend all the relevant provisions and articles in the Constitution to ensure that the bill is not inconsistent. To start with, Article 4.1 will need to be removed. The Federal Constitution will no longer be the supreme law, and so, which law will reign supreme then? Article 8 would also have to be thrown out, for reasons as I highlighted earlier. Next, the 9th schedule, and so on, through to the many more articles that would be and could be conflicting and inconsistent with this bill. 我们改党长都 so many, just to amend one, we have to amend so many of our party's constitution. Can you imagine if this bill, we would have to change so many articles and provisions in the constitution? And suddenly we will realize, without realizing, a chain reaction is in full motion, chipping away at the spirit and intention of Malaysia as we know it. Amendments such as these to the Constitution will open the floodgates. It's like opening the Pandora box. The far-reaching effects of it simply have not been explored in detail yet. The passing of this bill and the desecration of the Federal Constitution, just so to endorse it, will not only empower the Sharia courts in Kelantan, in Terengganu, but throughout Malaysia, even as far as my beloved Sabah. This enactment of hudud penalties in the guise of Sharia personal law for Muslims may then just be the largest Trojan horse threatening our secularism. It will be the start of a journey that most Malaysians have no wish to embark upon, the journey to become an Islamic state. Now, I do hope that all those in our coalition, all the political parties, will always bear in mind that we are part of the modern world of the 21st century that abides by the humanitarian values of an enlightened world, even in our dealing with the worst of criminals. I consider hudud as diametrically opposed to these considerations and has no place in this country. There is nothing sinister or am I disrespectful towards any religion in my stance here today, but rather it is solely for the reason to protect what we all have fought so hard to maintain in our country, and that is our diversity. Thank you.